All right, welcome back for more biotechnology. So let's end this chapter off on a short note about natural products. So this should not be a very lengthy video at all, but hopefully it should give you a little bit of information about natural products. So what exactly is a natural product? Well, a natural product can be any type of chemical or molecule or protein or whatever that is produced naturally by living organisms like plants, animal, fungi, and bacteria. So anything that you can get out of nature that occurs naturally without any outside influence or recombinant DNA technology or things like that, we can consider it to be a natural product. So throughout human history, we have a pretty tight connection with natural products because many of these natural products have been identified as sometimes having disputable medicinal properties. Now, certainly there are cases in which there is no dispute, but if you go to a store and you kind of go through the back aisle of the pharmaceutical section, you're going to see bottles that have all sorts of crazy crap in them. So Herbal Remedies are good examples of these. So you'll hear kind of these old wives' tales about how a tablet of St. John's wort a day will do X benefit for you. So it's not that those sorts of things aren't without their merit. It's just that, like I say, sometimes these things are disputed a little bit. Now, some cases that are not disputed, one example that we can talk about is willow bark. Willow bark contains a chemical called salicin, and as you would know, this is actually very similar to aspirin, which is salicylic acid. So this dates a long time back, but since ancient Greek times, I think, there was knowledge of the idea that willow bark has pain-relieving and anti-inflammatory effects, so people would be advised to chew on it to get the salicin out of it. Another example is clove oil, which contains the compound eugenol, which is a natural anesthetic, and it has a history of being used for toothaches. If you've ever seen the movie Marathon Man, there is one scene in which a man is being tortured by having his teeth drilled by a dentist, and he does get occasional relief when the dentist puts clove oil on his teeth. So that's kind of a famous example of that. And like I said, the movie is called Marathon Man, if you're ever interested in looking into that. And then possibly the best example of a natural product in human history is penicillin. So penicillin is an antibacterial antibiotic compound produced by certain fungal molds. And we've talked before about Sir Alexander Fleming and its discovery, and obviously its utility is quite famous at this point. So the production of new antibiotics has become an industry in and of itself. Speaking of which, now that we know a little bit about natural products, some biotech companies out there make it their whole business to identify, purify, and test new potentially useful natural products. So, as I said, there is currently a very desperate need for novel compounds with antibiotic and antimicrobial properties, especially since we discussed, I believe in Chapter 1, how bacteria have this nasty habit of developing antibiotic resistance very, very, very quickly. So basically we end up with an arms race to make sure that we can produce new antibiotics as fast as bacteria can become resistant to the old ones. So in this experiment that you're seeing here, you're seeing a nutrient agar plate that we've seen before in the lab, in which bacteria grow in colonies. So you're seeing quite a lot of colonies here, but you'll notice there are some places here that form these kind of blank circles in which the bacteria do not grow. Well, these little white discs that you're looking at here are little pieces of filter paper that have been soaked with a different antibiotic each. So we can actually assess how well an antibiotic is going to work by doing an assay such as this. So of these 6 different antibiotics, which we know there are 6 because there's 6 different little circles of filter paper here, of these 6, only 4 appear to be effective because in the bottom 2 examples, you'll notice that the bacteria did not have any sort of issue growing in very close proximity to the discs. And like I said, the efficacy of such antibiotics can be assessed by how well they inhibit microbial growth in a radius around the disc. So The bigger the radius of having no bacteria, the bigger zone of having no bacteria, we can say the more effective and stronger the antibiotic activity is. Okay, so that's just a short little discussion on natural products. Like I said, it is a whole field of study in and of itself, so if you're interested, there is no shortage of information out there about particular natural products. So if you do find it interesting, I would encourage you to seek that information out. So that is going to do it for Chapter 6. So I, as always, thank you for your attention, and I hope you will join us next time, and we will get into Chapter 7, in which we will start learning about the use of spectrophotometry to help us out with a bunch of assays that we've talked about before, particularly the ELISA. So thanks for joining us, and I will see you next time.